Hey, what's up everybody? We are in the Grow Paradise nursery, come display garden, and it is bursting at the seams with plants. Now that we are in early March, coming into the second week, we've got all of these new outside benches in this new area covered with cold, hardy, resilient tropical style plants. And it's not just this, the greenhouse is bursting at the seams as well. So in this video, I'm going to show you around all of the plants that are for sale. If you're in somewhere that isn't the UK, this is going to serve as a really good inspirational list of plants that you can add to your own patch of paradise. But as an added bonus, if you are in the UK and you're watching this video, all of the plants that you see will be available for sale at the time that this video goes live. So you may be seeing some of these in your own patch of paradise very, very soon. Let me show you around. So I think we'll start this tour inside of the greenhouse because I know that that is where you all really want to have a look. And we've got some amazing, really colourful plants in here at the moment. Now, I'm going to try and do this in order, but I get distracted, so forgive me if I miss anything at all. Up here, we've got the season's first batch of Ensete ventricosum morellii. That is the red-leaved banana. Now, these young plants may look small at the moment, but they will become enormous giants by midsummer. If you pot these on and give them plenty of food, they produce those lovely, kind of iconic, deep red leaves. You can see a more mature leaf starting to push out there. They colour up nicely in the sunshine, so as we're getting more and more sunny days, we're starting to see all that coloration appear. And they're just a must-have for tropical style gardens. They are tender, they do need protection through winter, but this beautiful red-leafed banana, sometimes called an Ethiopian banana, is well worth a grow, and these have been really, really popular. Now, while we're talking about bananas, I'll stick to the theme. Down here, I have loads of Musa sycamensis. Now, Musa sycamensis is that red striped banana. At this size, the leaves just look regular green, a bit like Musa basjoo, that hardy banana that so many of us grow. But the next 2 or 3 leaves that come out will be enormous, and they have a really lovely maroon streak through the foliage. And that maroon coloration sticks on younger plants, and then as the leaves mature, it slowly fades away. Now, some of the leaves will also have a really nice coppery underside. As I say, these young plants are yet to get their coloration, but now's the time to get them. Pot them on and you can grow them happily in your own patch of paradise. And of course, I wouldn't be without Musa basjoo. I've got a lovely collection down here of some slightly smaller plants and bigger plants at the back. Musa basjoo is the hardiest banana that we can grow. So Grow Paradise is obviously going to have a good selection of those available. Anyone looking to start a tropical garden, that's the banana I recommend you start with. Now, we are doing a lot of propagation this year. So I've got some first-time plants for the Grow Paradise nursery that are going to be hopefully one-offs, something that you're not going to see many other people sell. So I'm not going to tell you too much about what I'm growing from seed, because this is my livelihood after all. And if I give away everything that I've got planned for the season, I'd have nothing special to offer all of you. But there's a sneak peek. But what I can show you is some of the bigger plants I've got that are ready and are currently for sale, like this. This beautiful canna is Canna tropicana, and it has kind of maroon leaves streaked with green and fiery orange. They are really, really nice, and the coloration is really variable on them. And I'm sure, depending on how much sunlight and feed they get, different leaves will have different colours, so you're going to get a really colourful display. Now, this canna does flower, gets up to about 1.5 metres tall, and it will produce bright orange flowers at the top of these colourful stems. Now, the golden-leaved one next to it is Canna tropicana, but this is the gold form, Canna tropicana gold, and I think this looks amazing. That high contrast of the gold streaks through that lush green leaf is really, really beautiful. And when you can see the 2 Canna tropicana forms combined here, it's a super tropical looking combination, even before any blooms have appeared. I'll tell you what, inside knowledge, these are canna seedlings, but I'm not going to tell you which species, not yet anyway. Keep an eye on the shop. Now, what else have we got in here? Down the bottom, this amazing leaf belongs to Fatsia polycarpa green fingers, which is one of my favourite forms of the Fatsia plant. Now I've got some in the greenhouse here and some outside on the benches, and that's purely because of space. I try and keep as much in here as possible, but I'm on the Dorset coast, so the weather's really mild on the Grow Paradise nursery, which is why I can grow so many of these plants and get them to you in good condition. And tucked down here is something that I did a video about recently, and I'm so proud to be able to offer these to all of you. Now, this plant didn't even exist in the world a few years back. It's very, very new to cultivation. And this plant, Semponium Destiny, won Chelsea Plant of the Year 2022. And each of these are siblings from one hybrid seed batch. We've got Semponium Sienna and Semponium Diamond here. And these are very impressive, very fast growing hybrids that have been shown under the right conditions to be able to survive -4 degrees Celsius. So it's a really interesting succulent to try. Now, you can't miss all of this beautiful Spanish moss we've got hanging from the roof. I love having this in the greenhouse, especially through winter. It just makes it feel so lush and jungly, even on cold winter days. And it's taken 5 degrees Celsius for me really reliably. Now I'm just seeing if I can find any flowers here, because it's been in bloom and the greenhouse has smelt incredible. No, I can't spot any straight away. Not to worry. Let's go through here and see what else we've got. So we've got some aeoniums in propagation here. There's Aeonium vela at the back. This is, I can't remember which one it is off the top of my head. And just there is Aeonium Cornish Pixie, which is a really nice small rosette and mound kind of forming variety. And just down here behind this Brugmansia is Aeonium Red Edge. Not very creatively named, but a really nice, reliable aeonium for me, very easy to propagate. So if you like propagation, it's definitely one that's worth adding to your garden. I think everything else in here, including this really nice red tiger abutilon, is either plants for the Grow Paradise garden or stock plants for propagation. So I'm not going to show you too much of that in this video. Oh look, some big ones of those Semponiums I've just shown you down the bottom, and they're starting to colour up really nicely now that we're getting a good amount of sunshine. And extra seedlings growing here. Again, top secret, keep an eye on the website. Now, outside here is our 3 new IKEA shelves that have been great. They're like vertical polytunnels. And in here I keep the half-hardy plants that can tolerate a bit more cold, but by keeping them covered, if we do have any frost forecast, everything's perfectly safe and it keeps kind of excessive rainfall off them as well. Now in this one, we have Saxifraga stolonifera, and this is a form or a cultivar called tricolour. And this tiny little colourful plant has proven hardy in the Grow Paradise garden, and it makes for a really unusual, colourful ground cover. Let me show you. So down here is a relative of that one, Saxifraga stolonifera, the straight species, and this has been thriving as a ground cover here for 3 years now. So I just sat one of the pots of tricolour out to see how it would survive, and this has taken -5 and stayed in leaf. The slugs and snails aren't touching it, and you will get a cloud of tiny white orchid-like blooms in summer when it flowers. So it's definitely one that's worth a try. In this area here, this has formed such a good ground cover. I'm definitely going to kind of put 3 of these in, and it will quickly multiply and create a pinky ground cover there. Really nice plant to try. In this one is another tray, and down the bottom is my Fascicularia bicolour. Now this is a terrestrial bromeliad, meaning it grows in the ground, and this is that one that flushes bright red when it's in bloom. And it's hardy, so this one doesn't need any special care at all, and it gives you that exotic looking foliage. Great for Mediterranean style gardens, but also jungle gardens because it tolerates partial shade really, really well. Let's start by having a look in here. This is Dicksonia antarctica. That's the hardy tree fern. Now I like to grow them as small pots like this because even though they're tiny and they don't have the trunk that so many of us grow them for, these will form really large-leaved evergreen ferns that make a good kind of jungle ground story layer that look great. So underneath shrubs like this in the Grow Paradise garden, if you put one of those in, it's going to look jungly straight away. These have been popular, so we don't have that many left. Just tuck that back in there. Currently in propagation, some more of that Saxifraga that's been reliably hardy for me. And these two are secret plants that are currently in propagation. So let's have a look at the new benches out here. So down here, we've got loads more of those Fatsia polycarpa plants. And I'm really pleased at the size of these ones. I think I've got one here, yeah. There you go. It's a good sized plant, ready to be planted out. I'd say plant it out after the risk of frost has passed for this season, and then it's got all summer to become established, to become nice and thick and woody, ready for the coming winter. Behind that is another form of Fatsia. This is Fatsia japonica variegata, and it's a really nice variegated form. Rather than that kind of webbing variegation of Fatsia spider's web, this one has thick mottled markings, a bit like army camo, and it looks great, and it's really good for brightening up a shady spot because obviously Fatsia tolerate shade really well. I've actually got a big one of these in the Grow Paradise garden. Here you go. Super vigorous, super tough. This freezes solid and thaws out with no damage at all. And you've got these big tropical looking leaves, and it's evergreen, so it looks good throughout winter. So I was really pleased to be able to find some more of these for the nursery because these were super popular last year. This lovely grass looking plant is actually a herbaceous perennial. It's Liriope muscari, and this is a cultivar called Emerald Goddess. It's one of the tallest growing forms of this grass-like perennial that you can grow. And it will produce purple blooms. A tiny spike pops up, covered in tiny little purple blooms, followed by dark-coloured berries. And I think this looks like the ground cover that you see in Balinese garden designs. And it's so tactile. Obviously, I can't stop touching it myself here. This has been popular, again, because it's tough, it's evergreen, so it's going to give you that foliage and that lush ground cover all the way through winter. And then down here is a sea of young Trachycarpus palm trees. And this is a great affordable way to add palm trees to your garden, because if you get one of these into the ground, they're hardy, so you don't need to worry about it too much. There's actually 2 or 3 palm trees in each pot, so if you fancy it, you can divide them. But planting them at this size means that they're going to become established in situ in your garden, and the mature palm is going to be so much stronger and happier and healthier for it. I know I've seen George from George's Jungle Garden talk about this before. When you buy a big palm and you dig a hole for it, put it into your garden, it costs you a fortune. That is often the first plant that's going to become stressed. It's going to blow over in a storm, whereas these young plants are going to become established, they're going to put their roots down, and it will be a much happier plant in the long run, and it's going to cost you a fraction of the price. Hopefully this video has given you some ideas and some inspiration for plants that you can add to your own patch of paradise. It really does feel like the season's starting to kind of roll in pretty quickly. Trees like this loquat are pushing out new leaves. Even the bananas are pushing out green growth at the top. So it's a really good time of the year to start thinking about the plants that you want to add to your own garden. And like I say, most of what you've seen is for sale at the moment. Hopefully I'll see some of your names pop up in the online shop. Thank you so much for your support, and I will see you all in the next one.